Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's Facebook Live Natural Sweetness, Endless Delights. My name is Amy Goodson, registered dietitian and partner with Natural Delights Dates. Super excited you've joined us. I mean, we are deep into the holidays now. We're into the first week of December. We're talking parties, we're talking gatherings. And tonight, my goal is to help you fuel all of those different eating and friend opportunities throughout the entire holiday season. Now, we want to be talking to you tonight in the chat. So the Natural Delights Facebook team is in there talking to you. So tell us your comments, tell us your ideas. We want to know what your favorite taste preferences are, how you like to use Medjool dates in all of your recipes. Be sure to follow us at ND Medjool Dates, both on Facebook and on Instagram. If you would like to follow me, I'm at Amy Goodson on Facebook and at amyg.rd on Instagram. We're constantly talking about recipes, the deliciousness that we're putting forth every week. So be sure to follow us. And great news, tonight we're going to be doing a giveaway a little bit later. So you want to be sure and stay tuned because we're going to be giving away dates as well as a Shape It Up meal plan for me. I'm getting you ready for the new year with a 4-week meal plan that I've designed with all sorts of recipes in them. So stay tuned for that. Now, if you have missed any of our Facebook Lives over the last few weeks, because this is number 5, so we have had 4, I want you to scroll your way down the Natural Delights Facebook page to check out some of our delicious dishes, like this date and walnut sweet potato crumble. We have used dates to sweeten up rice pilaf. I am not a lover of kale, but with dates on it, I do. Favorite appetizer with peaches and prosciutto and a date glaze. We've used dates to sweeten balsamic Brussels sprouts, as well as in some snacks like apple nut butter sandwiches, oatmeal cookies. I mean, y'all, these were literally to die for, and pizza. And tonight, I have a pizza recipe that might even top my last pizza recipe. So if you missed any of them, be sure to scroll down because let me tell you, you want the download on the delicious. And there are so many things that you can cook up, whether you're going to a dinner, headed to a party, hosting a party, or just taking some type of treat to a friend. We have got all things covered for you. Now, tonight, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics because this time of year, everyone is always saying, how do I enjoy what I love to eat, but not gain weight? We're trying to keep that slim, trim figure over the course of the holidays. So I'm super excited because I have everything from cookies to bars to pizza with 0 added sugar, using all the natural sweetness and the caramely indulgent goodness of dates to sweeten all of these recipes. So these are some items that you can actually feel good about eating and snacking on over the holidays. And better yet, you can feel good about snacking on them and they're going to help you feel good because when you fuel your body with antioxidants and fiber and a lot of those nutrients, you're typically going to have more energy. You're going to be more likely to exercise, feel better throughout the day. So it makes it a win all the way around. Now, when we talk about using dates in recipes, a lot of people don't know what to do with them. I've made this joke in previous weeks, but my dad, who typically calls me Shug, no one else can call me that, by the way, but he does. And he was like, Shug, I've never even thought of using a date in a recipe besides wrapping bacon around it or eating it by itself. So, and he said my great grandmother used to make date bread, which I made last week. So if you missed that, you can check it out. But Nanny, my great grandmother, used to make date bread. But a lot of times we don't think about using them in some of our common everyday recipes. And a lot of that is people don't know what to do with this little shriveled date. So I'm going to teach you how to make your dates easy to use in recipes. And the first thing you have to do is pit your date. So dates all have a seed in them. So I want you to bust out your chopsticks. This is what you need to easily pit a date. And you're going to be sticking that rough end right through the end. Sometimes it's easier said than done, as you'll see. Sometimes I get that little seed out immediately. Sometimes it takes me a little bit more time. But once you slide it out, you have this perfectly intact date. So he's still ready to go, no stickiness on the outside. So now you can use your dates to be ready to chop, be ready to dice, whatever you want to do with it. Now, pro tip, dates are a little sticky. So if you pop them in the freezer for about 15 minutes, it makes them easier to slice through. That knife is just going to slide right through them. So whether you're chopping or dicing, set your dates on the cutting board. Once they're a little more firm, you can slice right through them. You're going to get these nice little slices. From there, you're ready to cook. You're ready to bake. You're ready to use them in lots of different recipes. So the first thing we're going to be doing tonight is making a Middle Eastern flair cookie, tahini date cookies. Now, I know that sounds a little bit strange, but let me tell y'all, these are kind of like a spin on a chocolate chunk cookie with that tahini, little toasted sesame, a little bit of a nutty flavor. So to start making this recipe, it's actually pretty simple. We are going to start grabbing your bowl and you're going to soften some butter. Let it get to room temperature. And then you're going to put your butter and your tahini in your bowl. Now, a lot of times we think about tahini as being used in hummus, but when we use it in dishes like desserts, it actually provides a lot of moisture without a super strong nut butter flavor like we often get. So tahini is actually made with toasted sesame. So it's an allergy-friendly, free, nut-free item that you can use as an ingredient in recipes. I've added some milk and some vanilla. Then we're going to be adding in monk fruit. So I said no added sugar. Monk fruit is my swap for sugar here. It's a 1-to-1 swap. So you can swap a cup of sugar for a cup of monk fruit. And then I'm using gluten-free flour. So if you have allergies in your family, food allergies, or you don't know who's coming to your party, this is a fantastic recipe because we're using the sesame seeds and the tahini and gluten-free flour, which makes this a win because it's kind of an allergy-friendly cookie. Now, once you have your batter all made, we are going to be topping or adding in, folding in 2 of my favorite ingredients. Number 1, chocolate chunks. So everyone loves a good chocolate chunk cookie. We're using about a half a cup here. And then I have our chopped Medjool dates. So this is going to be adding some of that natural sweetness and that caramely flavor. Now, I have to give you a little bit of history as I get these all folded in. If you don't know this, so dates were actually first harvested in the Middle East. And tahini is a Middle Eastern ingredient. Like it's used in so many dishes. I actually went to the Middle East 6 times in 2019 to teach dietitians, which was really cool. So I have tasted tahini in so many Middle Eastern and Mediterranean dishes, and it really adds a lot of flavor. So I kind of like to think of this as it's really going back to its roots. So when we add the dates to the tahini cookie, kind of going back to its Middle Eastern roots. And I learned a lot about some of this date history when I went to the Natural Delights farm tour. So I got to go. This was actually in Southern California and Yuma, Arizona. But let me tell you, they still hand harvest dates. Now, that's the way they did it almost 6,000 years ago in the Middle East. And this is still going on. Palmeros up in trees, getting the dates off the trees and really taking them from the tree to your table that you can use in so many different recipes. So as I've used the dates and recipes tonight, you are going to be getting this really creamy, very creamy texture when we talk about using the tahini. You can make these cookies as big as little as you want. You're going to pop them on your parchment paper and then pop those into the oven for about 14 minutes. My cookies are pretty big, so they took a little bit longer to bake, because they're really thick. But y'all, the moisture in these cookies is something else. It's full of dates, it's full of chocolate chunks, a little bit of a toasted sesame flavor. This is a cookie your friends are going to want to eat. And I'd like to say it has a pretty cool history behind it when we talk about where food comes from. And I think that that's such a big thing nowadays. We all want to know where our food comes from. And you are legit eating a fresh fruit from a tree that made it right into your cookie. So the tahini date cookie recipe is on the Natural Delights website in the recipe section, naturaldelights.com. This is a recipe you definitely want to be cooking up for your friends and your family over the holiday. A delicious cookie that you could also serve up if you're taking cookies to your neighbors for a treat. This would be a win. Now, during the holidays, Another thing we're constantly always talking about is, oh, we eat so much processed food or so much junk food over the holidays. And I think our bodies really start to crave some of that nutritious food, that whole food, as we were just talking about, farm to table or tree to table. And we want to enjoy the sweetness, but we want to enjoy it in a really natural way. And that's where we can use dates to sweeten anything from cookies to today I'm going to be making some raw energy bars. So when we talk about the holidays, we're often running from here to there. We're shopping, maybe you're visiting family, you're on the go. And if you don't have a healthy snack with you, you tend to go through the drive-through or run to the convenience store and pick up something that's maybe not as great for you. And it ends up making you feel worse instead of better. So one of my tips for people throughout the holiday season is to make sure that you have a healthy snack on hand with you. And let me tell you, these Medjool Date raw energy bars are a win. And when I say raw, it means no cooking, which if you've been around long enough, that's one of my favorite types of recipes is no cooking. So anytime that you are going to be starting with dates and using them like a paste or kind of like glue that holds the thing together, whether it's an energy ball or an energy bite or a bar like this, you want to soak those dates. So I often will chop mine and then put them in hot water. It doesn't have to be boiling, but soak them in a bowl of hot water for about 10 minutes. It allows the outer part of those dates to soften so that when you pop them in a food processor, they process super easy and really become a paste that's going to hold everything together. So if you're putting nuts or coconut or dried fruit or seeds, whatever you're putting in your mixture, when it's a little more moist, that water is going to help it hold together. So to make our raw energy bars, you are going to start by soaking your dates, putting them as the base in our food processor. Then we are going to be adding whole cashews. They're not salted, they're not toasted or roasted, just whole cashews. And then some unsweetened cocoa powder. Y'all, this tastes like fudge. I know you're thinking she's a dietitian. She didn't know what fudge tastes like. I'm telling you, it tastes like fudge. And we're adding some almonds in there. And we're going to pop the lid on to really get this process. I mean, it's got this, it's not even gritty. You really get a little bit of the nutty flavor, but that cocoa powder gives it a fudgy consistency as well as the flavor profile that we're all looking for when we want a chocolate treat over the holidays. Once we get that pretty well pulsed, we are going to be adding a few more ingredients. So we're going to be sprinkling in some coconut. And then we're going to be adding some vanilla. This is 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Seems like a lot, but I've eaten these and I'm telling you, it's actually a really, really tasty treat. And then we're going to add some water. Now, the water is interesting. You can add as little or as much as you like. So before you add in all of these ingredients, you have the consistency is a little more grainy because it's got the nuts in there and it's got all of the dates. When you add the vanilla and you add a little bit of water, it really allows it to moisten up. I'm going to tell you, when I read this recipe, I didn't think 3 tablespoons of water was going to be enough. I thought there's no way. My intern Jessica was here helping me. I'm like, there's no way we're going to need to have more water because there's so much consistency here. I'm telling you, the 3 tablespoons of water work. So I'm going to pulse this for just a few. You don't want this to be a liquidy cake batter. You just want this a pulsed, thick batter so that you can pour it into your container. So once you feel like you've got it pretty well pulsed, take that lid off. And you have this really, I wish you could smell this right now. You're all going to have to go home and make this because the smell tastes like fudge. And I smell a little bit of the nuttiness. I'm a nut lover when it comes to any form of dessert. And so it's pretty formable. And when you start to push down, it really allows it to just start to form into this bowl. This is not a greased bowl because, as I said, you don't have to cook this. We're simply going to be popping it into the fridge. Now, once you get that, I would recommend taking out your blade. Makes it a little bit easier. But once you get this there we go, all in your pan, you're just going to push it down like you would a fudge. I mean, as hard as you can get it, I would say, because you want to form it so that you pop it in the fridge for about an hour. And it's really going to be able to create, like I said, that really chewy consistency. My mom is a fudge lover. And the reason she loves it so much is because it's got that chewy consistency. Now, I decided to take this up an extra notch to add a little bit more crunch and a little bit of color on top, and chopped up some cashews and just add in some coconut and gonna sprinkle that on top. Now, this is not a wet mixture at all. It's fairly dry. So after you sprinkle on top, what I did was just kind of push it in. So you're kind of pushing it in to the topping to let it kind of form and just sit. From here, you're going to pop that in the fridge. It's going to sit for about an hour, as I mentioned. When you get it out, you can slice it into bars. You could slice these into bite-sized bars. Y'all, this fudgy consistency, it's got the nuts. I mean, if you like any kind of nutty fudge, this is definitely the recipe for you. Great bar. It's got a good moisture to it. So here's my tip. You could take your raw energy bite bars and use them as fudge at your holiday gathering. I'm telling you, no one would notice. Your secret is my secret. These raw energy bars are the win. They've got that natural sweetness. Like I said, no added sugar, and no one's going to know, which is going to make it even better as you are traveling about through the holiday season. And these are going to keep you well fueled. One of the things I love about the nuts and the dates is you're getting protein, you're getting fiber, and you're getting healthy fat. And that trio helps get you full faster and keep you full longer. You've all grabbed a baggie of something crunchy and salty, and an hour later, you are looking for another bite of crunchy and salty. The fiber content of the dates with the protein and fat from the nuts really satisfies you. You're going to feel energized, and you're not going to be looking for some of those junk food treats over the course of the afternoon. So these are a win to take with you wherever you're going. Now, I said that we were going to be having, another giveaway. But one of the things that we're also going to be giving away before we get to it are these mini Medjools. Now, if you don't have time to make a raw energy bar, don't worry. Natural Delights has done it for you with the mini Medjools. So they have 3 flavors. They have a coconut, a sweet and salty almond, and I purposely set out the cacao pecan, and I'm very serious when I said that, cacao pecan, because the way these are made is they take dates, they make it into paste, they roll them with the cacao powder, and then roll it in pecans. So 4 of these little luscious, indulgent mini Medjools is a serving, 150 calories. So if you don't have time to make your own bar over the holidays, pick up some of the mini Medjools. I pop these in a snack baggie, pop them in my purse, throw them in your road trip bag. Great snack that, again, is going to help you stay satisfied. And best part, enjoy what you're eating. So with our giveaway, we are giving away Natural Delights dates, and you're even going to be able to check out the mini Medjools, which you want to get your hands on. So we are posting a question right now in the comments box, and it's on the screen. How often do you use Medjool dates as a sugar replacement? I've talked about them as a natural sweetener, and we would love to know, are you using them in cookie recipes? Are you using them in bar, energy bite recipes? There's so many different options. So give us your best tip. How often do you use it? And quite frankly, we want to know what you're using it in. Once you add that in there, after recipe number 3, we're going to be picking a winner. So Natural Delights team is talking to you right now. Let us know what you think, because we're going to steal your ideas and try them out for ourselves. Who knows? They could show up on a Facebook Live one weeknight. So give us your best ideas. Okay, so I did some searching. Top 5 party foods. Every time, hands down, pizza makes the list. I think pizza is a favorite, whether you're 5, 55, or 105. And so we're going to put the sweet spin on something savory tonight, whether you're hosting a party or going to a party. We are making a caramelized onion date pizza. So I want you to think of all the flavors of the savory of caramelized onions, the carameliness flavor of dates, as well as like the crunchy goodness of warm toasted bread. Let me tell you, this is a win of a recipe. And it all starts with caramelized onions. This is actually going to serve almost like the base of the whole pizza. So first things first, before you ever get your pizza ingredients out, you need to caramelize your onion. So I used a yellow onion. You can use any. Get it all chopped up. And then we are going to be throwing that into a saucepan, skillet, whatever you're cooking with. I do about a tablespoon of oil to 1 medium-sized onion. I did a whole onion here, so I had a whole tablespoon. Used a little bit of sea salt just to give it a little bit of that salty flavor. I'm kind of a salty girl. And let that sit. So this needs to cook for about 5 to 8 minutes, or it's cooking on medium until they're really tender. Once you feel like your onions are fairly tender, we're adding balsamic vinegar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar to each one medium onion. You want to get that well stirred in and then just put it on low and let that baby simmer. This is where that onion flavor really picks up the tanginess of the balsamic vinegar and really creates that caramelization. You can chop your onions lots of different ways. As you'll see, I chop mine long and stringy. I like them to be long and stringy when we're putting them on pizza. So that was my win. Now, to make your pizza, I'm starting with a naan bread. This one is already made, and because there's no actual any type of topping on it, I am putting some olive oil just so it'll brown off pretty well and make it a little more toasty. And then we're really using the caramelized onions as the base for the entire pizza. Think of it as like, instead of, some type of marinara sauce, you are using a delicious caramelized onion. Then we're going to be adding our mozzarella cheese to the top. My favorite, you could use Asiago, you could use feta, whatever your favorite cheese is. And then I add in some more caramelized onions right on top because it's going to allow that flavor to really soak into the cheese as it is cooking in the oven. Now, this is an easy pizza because the bread was already cooked. I popped it in the oven at 400 degrees for right about 10 minutes. Look at this delicious goodness. The bread is toasted, the cheese is melted, and the caramelized onions and dates have just merged together. So I sprinkled some dates on top to let them cook in to the cheese and to the flavor, but I'm actually going to be sprinkling on a few more. I have the one that's pre-made here, the one that's straight out of the oven, a little bit more just to add some of that fresh sweetness, and then adding a pop of color, adding some arugula. This is fresh arugula, but it really adds a little bit of green, little fiber. Arugula's got a little bit of a spicy flavor. So this pizza really checks all the flavor boxes when we're talking about the savory with the onions, the sweetness with the dates, and then for me, some crunchy bread. The olive oil really toasted it off. So this could be an easy weeknight meal for your family. Chop this into bite-sized pizza, serve it at a party. I'm telling you, it is going to be a win all the way around. I'm just pretty sure everyone loves pizza. No need to convince anyone. And it's a great holiday flair with the savory goodness. All right, so we said that we were going to be giving away some treats. So right now, the Natural Delights team is posting the winner in the comments box. Here is what we need you to do. We need you to send us a direct message on the Natural Delights Facebook page at ND Medjool Dates, and we will get back to you with the information that we need. Dates coming your way, and again, getting you ready for the new year with my Shape It Up 4-week meal plan with delicious recipes that you're going to be glad that you're eating. So we have one more Facebook Live left after this. And let me just tell you that Mrs. Claus is coming to town and she's got some really delicious recipes. We're talking all things holiday hacks and 3 different dessert recipes. And just saying, one of them is an apple crisp that is going to melt in your mouth. So you've got to join me next Tuesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Right here from my kitchen, we will be talking all things natural sweetness with the goodness of Medjool dates endless delights to fuel your holiday season. So until next Tuesday, see you then, and we'll be talking to you in social media.